Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inside My Movie Collection. My name is Rob. This is the Movie Vault, my channel here. I'm delighted to be joined by Sam, aka film blogger Sam. Hey Sam, thanks for joining me today.
Hey Rob, how's it going? Thanks so much for having me on. I'm a fan of the videos you've done on this series so far. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
Thanks very much. Yeah, a fan of your and a subscriber to your channel as well. We'll have links in the description, guys. Check out Sam's channel. So I was kind of looking earlier. Do you kind of do? I kind of guess we're all kind of similar, aren't we? Really, you do a bunch of stuff like hauls and like arrow sales stuff, top movies, reviews. You kind of do a little bit of everything on your channel, don't you?
I do, yeah. I haven't been doing YouTube for too long actually. I sort of started, I think, in May time. I haven't got too many videos, but I've been really enjoying the creative process and sort of meeting people in the community. It's been fantastic. I've made some friends that I talk to on a regular basis through this community, and it's just a way of sharing my passion of like film and collecting Blu-rays and things like that. So yeah, it's a new sort of venture for me, but I've been really enjoying it. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well done. Keep it up because the videos are great. Can't wait to see more. It's kind of like it's mad, isn't it? With the not to kind of date this, but with the lockdown and stuff earlier on, it's kind of like film collectors unite. Everybody kind of like we all got together. But we'll kind of just gonna jump straight in here. So you guys know when you watch my channel, I'll collect anything 4K, Blu-ray, DVD, and vinyl, CDs, tapes, film. I have a bunch of film here behind me as well. So what kind of formats are you working with in your collection, Sam?
I don't go as a sort of as crazy as sort of film or sort of Laserdisc. That was sort of before my time, Laserdiscs. But I do have DVDs, Blu-rays, and I've recently ventured into sort of 4K media, which has been interesting. It's very, as per one of your videos that you recently done, which I'll champion as being one of the greatest videos on 4K media that I've seen. It's a very hit or miss format, which it shouldn't be, because Blu-rays generally, even though you get some sort of rubbish transfers, they generally are pretty damn good. Whereas a 4K media at the minute isn't great across the board. So I'm very picky and choosy about the sort of 4K Blu-ray discs that I pick up. But some of the ones that I have picked up have been outstanding. But yeah, so yeah, I'm sort of, I wasn't sort of collecting things with Laserdisc, and I haven't sort of ventured into sort of buying things on the secondary market from that sort of thing. I'm not that interested in it, but yeah, the majority of my collection is Blu-ray with a bunch of DVDs that I haven't been able to upgrade yet, or that don't have a Blu-ray release yet. So I don't want to, so there are some things out there that are still very much needing a Blu-ray transfer, and yeah, so I've still got a bunch of those, but they're a small portion of my collection.
Yeah, nice. That's actually kind of the opposite for me. Sometimes I don't kind of count the film stuff that I have in the collection. That's purely just from me working as a projectionist and stuff. But DVD is actually the main kind of section of my collection still. I think I've like 1,200 or 1,300 DVDs. I think I've roughly around 2,000 if I sort of counted everything together.
Impressive.
Yeah, like yourself, there's still a lot of stuff, and I'm terrible at I don't want to say I'm a hoarder, but like certain DVD covers are different to the Blu-ray covers, and I just can't get rid of them, so they have to stay in the collection. Like it's terrible, terrible collector problems,
Yeah.
But, we'll jump on to the next one. Do you remember like the first movie in your collection or one of the earlier movies that you have?
Yep. I'm just gonna go down by my feet and collect a prop for this question.
Yeah, cool.
So I remember the first DVD I ever saw, which was, I can't remember who directed it, but it's The Perfect Storm, starring George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg, I think, is in it. Yeah. Which I think is not a very good film, but that was my first ever experience with watching a DVD when they were like ridiculously expensive. But the first one I ever bought with my money was Kinji Fukasaku's Battle Royale.
Oh, nice.
Have you ever seen this film?
I have not. I think I've seen pieces, but never the whole thing.
Yeah. So this, I have this on Blu-ray now. Arrow Video, which is one of my favorite Blu-ray labels. They've put this out. So basically, have you ever seen The Hunger Games?
I know of them. Yeah.
Right. So basically, The Hunger Games ripped this off. It's a bunch of kids that are sort of plonked on an island, and they're basically given some weapons and some tools, and they have to all fight to the death until there's one remaining sort of person. And it's all sort of like a commentary about the state of like youth in Japan, and it's sort of like a social experiment, and it's extremely violent and gory and quite controversial at the time when it came out. And it's an amazing film, and this is one of the few DVDs that I still own that I've upgraded, but I don't want to part with it because it's one of the first DVDs I ever bought with my money. I did buy this underage, so you can see here it's got the 18 certificate on it. I was not 18 when I bought this. I think I was probably 15. I don't know why I got served it, but I'm thankful I did because I love this film. It's amazing. And yeah, so that was the first, that's the oldest and the first ever DVD I bought. So
Nice pick. I have a funny story as well about getting served, not getting served. So I've watched the wrestling since I was a little kid, you know, all the way up to I'll duck in and out more recently. I might watch a pay-per-view or something every couple of months now. But we used to have a massive Virgin Megastore on the Keys in the city centre here. And they were the only place that sold some of the wrestling tapes, you know, videotapes you could buy years ago. And I remember going in, and it had 18s on it, and your woman in the shop wouldn't serve it to me. I had to get my mom to go up with my money. Like, you know, she just wouldn't. I can't remember how old I was at the time, but that was a funny kind of thing that stuck with me. You know, I don't know if there was anything 18s worth on a wrestling pay-per-view, but
yeah, it's true.
Wouldn't serve me. But I have so obviously, I keep saying this in the video, and I don't mean to myself, guys, but I can't show Blade, the first DVD I bought in the collection, every time. So I'm going to show you guys. You might remember this, Sam, years ago when I got my first DVD player. It was really cool. And then the next coolest thing you could do was you could send your DVD player off to a company who would, like, I don't know if it was certainly legal at the time, but they
definitely. I know what you're going to say. Not legal. People used to do it with their PlayStations back in the day, so they could get. Yeah, I know what you're on about, but yeah, definitely not legal.
Prized possession DVD player off to be chipped, physical chip put in and stuff, and you could then import Region 1s from the States. So one of the earliest Region 1 DVDs I have in my collection is this, who released this? I think it was Fox, was it? Yeah, Fox. The Abyss Special Edition. Region 1, and it has a really cool, like, sort of silver case.
Oh yeah.
Interesting enough, it was a 2-disc, but it's this weird, like, it opens up and then there's kind of like a second compartment for the second disc.
That's interesting.
Sort of strange. Yeah, I have an Independence Day Region 1 kind of similar 2-disc, but yeah, that's an old. I haven't watched this in years. So I pulled it out today, and that'd be kind of interesting to rewatch, although it would probably look terrible on DVD. I'm not too sure. There's probably a Blu-ray version of it out there, but that's one of the older Region 1s I have in my DVD collection.
Nice.
So we'll jump on. Do you have like a cool box set or a special edition now of your collection you want to show us?
Yeah. So just go back down to my props. So as I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite labels is Arrow Video, and this is the reason why this is one of my favorite. It's not a box set; it's more of like a limit. It's like a special edition of a film.
Cool.
But the reason why I love this is, one, because the film is pretty damn awesome, and secondly is because of all these supplemental features that you get on the disc and stuff. So I'm talking about Paul Verhoeven's Robocop.
Nice.
Have you seen Robocop?
I have, and do you know what? I held off on buying that version for the longest time, and then I snagged it in the Arrow sale earlier in the year. So thank God.
Nice.
I love all the extra stuff in it. Yeah.
Exactly. The film is a fantastic satire, and it's I quite like Paul Verhoeven's work in general, even though a lot of his films are sort of panned as being quite crap, like Showgirls and Starship Troopers and stuff. But I think there's some very minimal artistic merit, but a lot of entertainment value. So I love this disc, and the booklet in here is amazing. And yeah, it's just Arrow do great things with like their supplementary materials and their like commentaries from like really interesting people. And this is a shining example of the work they do. And yeah, I recommend anyone to watch Robocop if they've never seen it before. I remember watching this when I was very, very young, and without spoiling too much of it, there's a scene in the film where a man sort of gets covered in like acid or falls into a vat of something and he sort of melts. And that gave me nightmares for a long time. I saw it when I was way too young, but now I watch it and I'm just like, those are so cool, special, like visual, like practical effects and stuff, and it's just mind blowing. And yeah, it's quite gruesome, to be honest. But like as an adult, I can appreciate it more and not be petrified by it. But still, really cool effect. And yeah, I love this. This is one of my favorite sort of limited edition packaging of a film, because the film's awesome and the special features are just bring so much like wealth and more information to the film to like make you appreciate it even more. So yeah, that's my pick. Robocop, Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, awesome. I have a funny, I don't know if I've told this on a movie collection video before as well. So I think, wasn't Robocop the first one 87, I want to say? I think
yeah.
Yep.
87.
I was only 4 at the time, so I must have saw it after the fact, still when I was a kid. But I remember kind of growing up, there was a couple of us, about 5 or 6 of us friends together, and we start collecting, we would collect VHS and then kind of moved into DVD. And we used to order online through a kind of a catalog company where, you would phone up and say, hey, I want like 10502 and, pay with a credit card and post to this address. And we would order and get those Region 1 imports that way. And somebody kind of was like, oh man, did you see what's in the catalog? It's like Robocop, but it's like the uncut or the director's cut. And you see the, all that stuff. I don't know if I want to give it away, but you'll know.
Yeah. I know what you're on about.
We hadn't seen that before. So we ordered the Region 1, or possibly it could have been like a Region 0 DVD at the time, a Region 3. And it was only years later I found out that was my first Criterion collection ever, Robocop. It's like spine number 24, 25 or something.
That is crazy that the Robocop is in the Criterion collection. There's some crazy films in the Criterion collection, like I think Armageddon is in it, and The Rock, I think, are in the Criterion collection.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure people nowadays would appreciate them being in there. If they reissued those on Blu-ray in the Criterion collection, I'd love it. I think it would be fantastic. But I don't think it's going to happen.
We'll be waiting a while for those ones.
Yeah.
Cool box set or special edition I have. I'm going to show you. I want to say this was kind of one of the first box sets I had in the collection. This is like a really old Alien Legacy DVD.
Nice.
Kind of set.
Very cool.
It's kind of hard to see with the glare here, but this is kind of all embossed and stuff.
Nice.
It had the 4 movies, which is what the Alien franchise was at the time. I didn't actually realize until I pulled this out earlier. I had a little has a kind of a poster thing inside of it, but it's actually says it's limited edition and there's numbers on it as well.
Oh, sweet.
225, but it doesn't tell you of how many. So it kind of always gets you at that. But yeah, I remember, I think I told the story before about how I had Aliens and had it taped off the TV when I was a kid, and I loved it. And I was like, these army guys, and they were going in and get the aliens and guns and explosions, and it was awesome. And it wasn't until like years later that I found out, wait, like Aliens is a follow-up to, like, there was a movie called Alien. Hold on. Like,
yeah, with no S.
Yeah, no S. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like Aliens 1, don't you mean? So yeah, and I got this box set, and I was like, I'd seen bits of 3, and I was really interested in seeing all of 3 and Alien Resurrection. I think I'd seen bits of it again, and I'm a big fan of Winona Ryder, so it was kind of like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. Winona Ryder, Aliens, it's all going to be great. Like, and I kind of came away from the box set going like, man, that Resurrection movie sucked. Like, it was so bad. But Winona was in it, so thumbs up, and I came away from that box set really, even though I'd watched Aliens as a kid, I came away really liking Alien and Alien 3. I'm a big fan of Alien 3. I know it's kind of divides people these days, but I think it's kind of found its audience a little bit more. Whatever, 20 odd, maybe even 30 odd years later. Big fan of Fincher as well. Yeah. So that was that's my cool box set. And we'll kind of jump along. Do you have like a most prized possession in your collection?
So I feel like I'm going to be talking about Arrow quite a lot. But I do have some other picks that aren't Arrow later on. So this is not something that's hugely worth anything, but this is something that has sort of sentimental value to me because of something that's on it, if that makes sense. So I'll just jump in and say what it is. So this is the Arrow special edition of Donnie Darko. And the reason why it's so special to me is because I had it signed by Richard Kelly, the director. Yeah. So, camera here. So I went to a screening of Donnie Darko at the British Film Institute a few years ago. Well, when this was released, and Richard Kelly was there for a Q&A session, after the show, after the screening and stuff, which was fantastic. And I managed to bring my copy along and got him to sign it. And I met him, and he's a pretty cool guy. Have you seen Donnie Darko? And what do you think of Donnie Darko?
I really like. I haven't seen it in the longest time. I have a couple of different versions. I never went to Blu-ray, but I have like a DVD that has what did they call it? Is it like a lenticular cover?
Yeah.
I have that, and I have kind of a regular version as well. Yeah, but I have another one I need to revisit. I haven't seen it in the longest time. Yeah,
so I still love this film. This was one of the first films that sort of really made me look into film more in depth. So it came out, I think it was in 2001. I'm really terrible with years of films, but it came around after the 2000s. And I was a sort of a mid-teenager, and really discovering film. And this film really struck a chord with me. And then it made me really want to delve deeper into what the possibilities of cinema were. And it's gone down the rankings on my list of great films, but it holds a special place in my heart. And so I love this, and it's has pride and place in my movie collection room, because it's been signed by the director, and I met him in person. So it was this is really cool. It's not really worth anything more than what the actual limited edition is, but it has sentimental value to me. So this is probably my most prized thing in my collection.
That was a really cool prized piece there in Sam's collection. I'm going to show you guys again. I have something similar here, a signed piece that I met in person. So you guys know I'm a big fan of the Halloween franchise, the Halloween horror series here, which is kind of connected here. So back in oh my god, I'm going to be terrible at the years here as well. I want to say was this 2000. X-Men the movie came out, the first one. Tyler Mane played Sabretooth, and he went on to play Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween's, and went and met him, and I got a signed X-Men comic before the premiere here.
That's cool.
So,
nice.
As you said, it's probably not worth an awful lot because it has to Rob on the front of it, but that was cool. And little did I know at the time when I met him, and he was a wrestler as well. He wrestled for a short while, so it was all kind of a cool tie-in, and he was pretty cool. We met him over in Forbidden Planet. You had to queue up, and you had to buy your comic first, and then you had to queue up to get to talk to him and have him sign stuff as well. But that's a quick prized piece of my collection.
Awesome.
We jump on to the next one. The last movie that you bought for your collection, Sam.
You'll appreciate this one.
Yeah.
Talking about John Carpenter.
Nice.
Actually, yesterday morning, this beauty came in the post. You might know what this is, but
no, mine didn't
it's
arrive
yet. It's not arrived yet. Oh, sorry. But it doesn't really show very well on screen, but this is the 4K steelbook. Maybe I'll take the cover slip. It's got a really nice slip cover on it as well.
Nice.
John Carpenter's Halloween, the original. It's got a nice Laurie Strode on the back. And I haven't watched it yet. I'm saving it for Halloween night. Nice. On Saturday. So that's the last thing I bought. I don't really know what else to say about it. This film is incredible, and I don't need to tell you that, or any of the listeners or viewers, I should say. But this is when you see this in person, these leaves and stuff, they just pop in when you shine it in the right light.
Yeah, and
it's gorgeous. So I hope you get yours soon, so you can appreciate it yourself. But this is fantastic, and I can't wait to watch it. So that's the last thing I bought.
You gave me a shout out when that went up on Zavi for the pre-orders that day, so thanks for that. I did. It actually no worries. Funnily enough, I had another pre-order with Zavi, which was my last buy for my collection. I don't understand how the post works sometimes. So I had that Halloween 4K pre-ordered for the longest time. And oh, actually, before I forget, did you have the regular 4K version of Halloween 78? Have you seen that?
No, just the Blu-ray.
Yeah, if it's the same transfer, then it looks fantastic. It's really, really good transfer. I just wanted to remember
Excellent.
to say that beforehand.
Cool.
Yeah, so I had the pre-order for the Halloween 4K Steelbook. As I said, thanks to you for letting me know. And then I pre-ordered something last week, and the two of these shipped together. And I got this 2 days ago, but I didn't get my Halloween. But I got the Back to the Future, the 4K Steelbook trilogy. I'll try and quickly do this. What order did these go in? Our friend Heat Serial at Midnight done a video of these recently. I will, by the time this video goes up, I'm going to have reviewed these. Actually, the 3 steelbooks kind of make this.
That looks great. Yeah,
the way,
fantastic.
But I don't want to drop them. Yeah, that was the last kind of thing into the collection here. And I've never seen this before. Although I never bought like a steelbook trilogy. But it might be hard to see. But the inside of the box has these little cardboard tabs to keep them apart, which I thought was kind of a clever idea, but they don't, because I'm always afraid of the steelbooks. I know I've seen people that have are they kind of like protective sleeves or something for steelbooks? I've never looked into them, but I'm just afraid of scratching steelbooks all the time. So I thought that was a nice touch to kind of keep them apart. And I noticed as well, we got different artwork over here, over this side of the pond, as they say. From the US, artwork looks terrible, so we got some decent artwork on our set.
Nice.
So that was the last one. Speaking of the last one, what was the last movie that you watched?
Oh, I watched this last night before I went to bed, which was maybe not a great thing. Well, it was good. I enjoyed it, but I've been meaning to get around to this because in the sort of YouTube community, particularly around October and Halloween, there's been a lot of talk about like Universal. There's not many of them that I've seen, but I picked up a few of them recently on quite a nice special edition actually. But I watched last night Dracula. These are not picking up well on the camera. I do apologize. I'll put it a bit closer. There we go. That looks better. So this is the original one from 1931, and I loved it. It was fantastic. It's very slow. It's very slow cinema, but I don't mind slow cinema. I'm like a huge Andrei Tarkovsky fan, and his cinema is probably the slowest that there is. But I really, really enjoy like just in delving into like a mood or an atmosphere and just letting that sort of wash over you. And that's what this film does. And yeah, surprised I haven't got around to it by now already. But this is a really good film, and I'm glad I watched it. So yeah, I watched this last night, and I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to see sort of like the origins of any of the Universal sort of creatures and monsters. So
yeah, fantastic one. That one, 1931, I want to say. Dracula.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And funnily enough, I think I said in another video to someone, I like that one. I'm a big fan of that one, and I'm a big fan of Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula from, I want to say, like 92, 93, around there. But somebody kind of said in the comments to me on one of the horror picks videos I was doing on my channel, somebody said, like, what about Christopher Lee and Hammer stuff? And I've never got into the Hammer stuff at all, and I'm kind of thinking I should at some point maybe delve in and have
a look. Me too. That's a big blind spot because I'm a huge horror fan. Yeah, but yeah, Hammer. I don't know if you can call yourself a horror fan if you've not seen many Hammer films, especially like living in the UK. But that's just a big blind spot of mine. I know, like Indicator, which is a fantastic company. They have like those Hammer box sets. But I'm always wary of like buying something like that and not enjoying them. Because they're expensive, but worth the money if you enjoy the films because the packaging is superb. But I guess you can sell them and stuff afterwards if you don't like them. I'm not a collector who tends to hold on to things if I don't like them. I tend to get rid. Like if I don't see much merit in it, for the most part, there's a few things I've kept hold of because it's like regarded so highly by people. And then I'm thinking maybe there was something wrong with me at the time I watched it. And if I revisit it in like 5 years' time, I may think differently because that's been the case of some of my very favorite films. I wasn't too hot on them. And then I revisit them like a year, 2 years later, and then something clicks. And then I'm like, oh, this is why people love this film. And I get it. So, but yeah, carry on. That was a tangent. I do that sometimes.
Yeah, no, no, it's quite interesting topic. It's interesting you say that, because a while ago I picked up I want to say earlier on in the year was the Arrow sale earlier this year around like April, isn't it? Kind of around Easter.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I bought a bunch of stuff, and it was the first time I kind of bought like a load of stuff together. And I picked up some Arrow and Arrow Academy, and a couple of people had suggested that I pick up The Long Good Boy, Elliot Gould, the Arrow Academy release, and I did, and I watched it, and I kind of felt similar to you. I was kind of like, everybody went on about this thing, and now I'm kind of like, I'm afraid to kind of get rid of stuff, like you were saying, because I kind of feel maybe I'll appreciate something more in a second or a third watch. So I'm kind of a little bit like, I think is it the Robert Altman movie Three Women as well? I picked that up on the sale and kind of felt the same about that. It was quite interesting. I was kind of like, I don't think I'll be revisiting it anytime soon, but I might appreciate it in a year or two's time or something like that. So yeah.
Have you seen any other Altman films?
Oh my God.
Nashville. Have you seen Nashville?
I haven't seen Nashville. I think Long Good Boy was Altman as well, was it? Yeah, so they're the only two I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I mentioned the two of them, and I didn't even realize it was both him. Yes, I did pick up the two of them. Just kind of on recommendations from people. Probably Elliot. I think he's been recommending a bunch of Arrow stuff.
Yeah, he's a huge Robert Altman fan. So yeah,
it was probably him. I grabbed a bunch of them while they were nice and cheap, because I do like a bargain sometimes, you know. But I will. Last movie I watched is kind of, you know, I'm going to kind of date the day that we're filming this video, because it's not going to go out for a while after we film, but because I posted about this online, and I was about to post and kind of say it was a first time watch, and then when I watched it I realized I had seen pieces of it before. I picked this up in work in the DVD shop, Belle, jour, the French movie, which I want to say I hadn't seen, but then when I watched it I hadn't seen all of it. I'd seen everything up till the end. I'd seen pieces. And I just I've been kind of interested in Catherine Deneuve. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I done 1 year of French in school, and then I kind of failed out of that class. So hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But I picked up Roman Polanski's Repulsion. She was in that as well. And I thought she was quite good. And I was like, oh, Belle de Jour, it's kind of a good seller in work. So you kind of see people come up and buy it. And there was one left. So this is like a Studio Canal Blu-ray. It's kind of, the book is kind of stuck inside of it, but I think Criterion, I don't know what these are called, but Criterion released a couple of movies with these stupid little disc holder dot things.
Oh, I don't think I've seen one of those before.
It keeps falling out, so I'm gonna have to put the disc into like a little plastic sleeve or something, because I'll pick this up off the shelf and the disc just comes flying out onto the ground. But and I think I want to say my All About Eve Criterion Blu-ray is the same with those stupid little sticker dot things, I think they're called. But yeah, that was my last watch. I watched it like maybe 2 nights ago, I think, and really interesting movie. And I thought it was going to be a first time watch until I put it on. I remember the opening scene. I'm like, I've seen this before. Definitely seen this. So that was my last watch. We'll jump on. Do you pre-orders? I'm like a pre-order maniac. Of too many going on at the moment. So
yeah, me too. I have an abundance of things on pre-order.
Kind of like again, we're going to date this, so by the time this video goes out, we may have all gotten our pre-orders that we're just going to talk about here in a second. But what's a pre-order you're looking forward to getting?
In terms of packaging and just presentation, the thing I'm most looking forward to is the second site release of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
As soon as that was up for pre-order, I chucked my my credit card at them. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm hoping it's going to be a good release because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I'm just based on previous second sight sort of output, I'm sure it's going to be pretty special. Yeah. So that's probably the thing in terms of packaging I'm most looking forward to. Film-wise, I'm really looking forward to the 4K release that's being put out by Arrow Video of David Cronenberg's Crash.
Yeah.
Are you a Cronenberg fan?
I am. I don't have a lot of his stuff. I want to say I might only have 2 or 3, but similar to you, I do. Dawn of the Dead has been ordered and Crash has been ordered and paid for. So patiently waiting. That's mid-November, is it, Crash? I want to say end of November.
Crashes, yeah, they're both out in November. So November is going to be a good month.
Yeah.
And then lastly, just one more pre-order is, I believe Vanessa mentioned it when she was on here. It's the Columbia Noir series from Indicator. I'm a huge film noir fan. And again, as soon as that one went up for pre-order, I threw my credit card at Indicator Films. I don't know any of the films in the box set. I've not seen any of them, but as with Indicator, a lot of the things I buy from them are blind buys.
Yeah.
And most of the time I'm not disappointed. And as I've said before, their packaging is just, in my opinion, the best on the market. Their box set presentations are just superb. So I'm really looking forward to delving into some sort of maybe lesser known, unseen noir films that have been restored by them. So yeah, I do probably have about 20 things on pre-order at the moment. I have a problem. But
me too.
Yeah.
I think I said that. I said that to I have a friend. We still have Terror Records over here. I think you guys do as well in London. Maybe is there a Terror Records still?
If there is, I'm not aware. Yeah, we have like, yeah, I don't think so. We have like Sister Ray, and places like that. But yeah,
we have 2 Terror Records over here. Funnily enough, we've one north side and one south side of the city centre. So my friend works in Terror Records, and I was only talking to him yesterday. Again, I apologize, guys. I'm going to date this video to when we're filming it, but yesterday, John Carpenter, they announced the Lost Teams 3. So I ordered it.
I saw
away.
You posted that. Yeah.
Oh my God. I text my friend that works in Terror Records that saying like, man, I'd have a problem. I cannot stop buying stuff. Our bank accounts do not like us, Sam, at the moment. Because as crap as 2020 has been, I think it's been a really good year for like movie collectors. There's been an awful lot of stuff.
It's been an outstanding year. Since I've been collecting, which has been about 4 or 5 years. But like when I've been seriously collecting, that it's been probably the best year for me. The amount of great films I've seen and pickups of special editions, it's been fantastic. So there was one silver lining to 2020 there. So for some of us,
that's it. The bank accounts didn't like it though, but they'll just have to dislike it. We'll jump into a next one. Do you have like a favorite movie franchise or a favorite series of films in your collection?
Yeah. It's probably going to be a bit boring choice, but I was struggling to choose between Star Wars, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Have been since I was a kid. I'm not huge on the newer output of the franchise.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the original trilogy is fantastic. It's classic. I love it. And even though some of the sort of the prequel films aren't that great, I have a lot of attachment to them because I grew up watching them.
Yeah.
So like Phantom Menace came out in 99. So I was like 11 years old when it came out. So it was like all I was watching and thinking about was Star Wars and stuff. And I still enjoy it to this day. I absolutely love it. So I would say Star Wars, but there are so many series and franchises that I love as well. I picked up this one off the shelf because you showed us something earlier, but is Alien is another one of my favorite franchises. Absolutely love that. Some of the later I don't like Resurrection too much, but I'm with you in that I feel that Alien 3 is very much misunderstood and is actually quite a good film. Still probably third out of the original 3 in terms of my enjoyment and where I'd rank it, but it's not one I would ever sort of skip if I was like in an Alien watching mood. Alien. I also really like Terminator. The first 2 films are amazing. I also sorry, I'm just going to ramble here. I also really like Ghostbusters number 1 and 2. Absolutely love those. If you can regard that as a franchise, it's just 2 films. Like I don't know, but I have a huge sort of childhood association with those films, and I can watch them endlessly. I'll stop there because I could just go on and on about different film franchises and series that I enjoy. But yeah, I'd say Star Wars is my favorite. Maybe a bit mainstream choice there, but I can't deny it. It's just what it is. So.
No, that's cool. I have, did you, I guess maybe not because you showed that box set, you didn't jump for the 4K Skywalker Saga set, no?
I have picked up Empire Strikes Back on 4K as a
Yeah.
single release, because that's my favorite of all the films. And I wasn't interested in getting all the rest of them on 4K.
Yeah.
Because I don't need them on 4K. Really, they look fine on Blu-ray. I just wanted to see what Empire looked like on 4K, and it does look pretty good in my opinion. I've seen some mixed reviews on that, but to my eyes, it looks sharper and the color palette looks really good on it. So I'm happy with my purchase. So, but yeah, no, I do envy people who have that Skywalker set just because it looks awesome. But yeah, it's like 200 quid.
Yeah,
Something like
I
that
was
for
just
all
gonna say,
9 films. It's a lot of money for. I only really wanted to get Empire on 4K, so I'm happy with that.
yeah, I think I want to say there's 3 discs per film. I did pick it up when it came out. I had it again. They got me with the pre-order. And yeah, it was somewhere around 200. I paid. It's probably like one of the most expensive things that I have. But for me, I had like you might remember the old like black and silver DVD original trilogy box set. I had that, and I had the prequels just on individual DVD, and I never went to Blu-ray on any of them at all. So I kind of thought, like, you know, Disney and buying Fox and Disney Plus, and I'm like, will physical media is, you know, or Disney doing away with that? That's a whole topic that's going on. It feels like it's been going on for a while. So I just kind of felt, I think I'll just grab this now, and then that be the end of it, and I'll have them all and grand. And I want to say it's taken me a while to get through them. I was just like, I'm gonna go 1 to 9. You know, I don't have them in here. I have a lot of the toy lightsabers, and I have the Darth Vader, the proper replica one, inside the other room. Because Darth Maul was just, man, that was awesome. It was Phantom Menace.
Oh,
And,
love it. He's such a great Star Wars character.
Yeah.
It's probably my second favorite Star Wars character after Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Darth Maul. Highly underused. So
yeah, I don't know. Attack of the Clones I wouldn't be big on, but I have a special place in my heart for episode 3, because it's the only Star Wars movie I ran as a projectionist, and I ran it on 35mm as well. So yeah, episode 3 has a special place for me. But yeah, as you said, I thought the original trilogy looked great on 4K, and I kind of just stopped. I've seen 7, 8, and 9. Like, I've seen them all once, I think, and I don't know. I kind of stopped. I stopped at the original trilogy because I'm like, man, they're not really going to be together after, you know, in 7, 8, and 9. I kind of got a bit bummed out. And I was like, I don't know. I'll dive into those 3 at some point, and I haven't even started on the bonus stuff from that box set. But you mentioned Ghostbusters as well. I think I've shown this on another episode of Inside the Movie Collection. But behind me, it might be hard to see, but down behind me, I have a replica proton pack.
Nice.
It's kind of sitting there.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
Kind of buried there underneath the Twin Peaks. Sorry, I'm always trying
I love that poster. I think I messaged you on thing or commented on something you posted. I have that as well. I need to get it framed. But it's great. I love the design on that. I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan. As you can see up there. There. I have the Twin Peaks box set up there, and I have like a Twin Peaks poster on my wall, and sort of like I have all the pop vinyl dolls from Twin Peaks as well that they released in a little corner over there. I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan. But yeah, that poster's awesome. Carry on.
No, that's cool. And if you're, I found it on Etsy, I think at some point. So just Google Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that's where I got mine from. Yeah,
you'll find it. I got a frame in the pound shop for mine. So there's not actually glass in it. It's just like a sheet of kind of, it's not even perspex. It's kind of like, do you remember that overhead projector papery stuff?
Yeah.
It's just like a sheet of that. So I was kind of happy now. I was like, that's cool, because if it falls off the wall, it's not going to break and shatter everywhere. It's just a nice little sheet of plastic. But
it looks like really well framed as well. So
I jammed it in there somehow, and it held. So that's pretty cool. We're getting to the last couple of questions here, guys. Book or music recommendations? Do you have anything for us? They can be a movie tie-in if you want, but they don't have to be.
Yeah. So I don't read a whole bunch nowadays. My day job requires me to read a lot, and I look at a lot of data, and when I get home, the last thing I want to do is read. Although I absolutely love reading, but it's just going from reading for 9 hours to reading when I get home, which is the reason why I love like foreign and subtitled films, but I tend to not watch them after work because there's reading involved. So I tend to save those for the weekends or when I have days off from work and things like that. But I have read some books, and what I'm going to recommend is a book that is a collection of writings from one of my favorite film critics. And that is Pauline Kael Selected Writings.
Oh, cool.
So this book is fantastic. Her style of writing and the way she approaches sort of talking about, I don't want to say this, but I think she's passed away now. She was sort of like a really prominent film critic in like the 60s and 70s. Yeah. So there's fantastic like pieces in here on like Taxi Driver and like The Godfather and things like that. And just her insight and passion for writing is amazing. It's quite a thick book. So it's got lots and lots of like essays and sort of things she wrote for like newspaper articles and stuff, because that's people didn't read online because there wasn't online back then. So if you wanted to hear what people had to say about films, you had to pick up a newspaper and hear what like prominent film critics had to say about it. And this book, if you're really interested in like, because it only focuses on like 60s and 70s cinema, if you want to hear what someone like at the time who was like a really well-known film critic had to say, then pick up this book, because her writing and insight into things is fantastic. And yeah, it's really, really good. And if you haven't seen all the films that she covers in here, it's really good to, because I haven't read everything in here, because I only want to read the things she's written about or films I've seen so that I can understand where she's coming from, if that makes sense. Yeah. So every now and then I will have seen something and I'll pick this up off the shelf and then I'll flick to the section where she's written about it and then I'll like have a read of that bit. So it's really good. So I've probably read about 3/4 of this, but there's a few films in here that I haven't seen yet. So I haven't read the articles, but I highly recommend this to anyone who's into 60s and 70s cinema and they want to read a sort of a contemporary at the time film critics' opinion of those films. So yeah,
cool. Nice.
And then I have a music recommendation. Well, I don't know if it's a recommendation. I just wanted to show it off. Really, it's a vinyl. It's a vinyl record of my favorite Rob Zombie film, and that is The Devil's Rejects, and it's the vinyl here from Waxworks Records. Yeah. And I absolutely adore this soundtrack. I love the film as well. I'm not a huge Rob Zombie fan, but this film, he sort of like everything that works a little bit in some of his films, like before or after this came out, it really sort of, I don't know, it just worked for me. But yeah, there's a really cool sort of juxtaposes the actual tone of the film. Really, there's like some folk songs in here by an artist called Terry Reid, which is amazing. And yeah, even if you don't really like horror films or anything that's quite grisly and gruesome like this film is, you might enjoy the soundtrack, because the soundtrack doesn't really reflect the tone of the film. It's quite opposite, and it's quite a stark comparison. And yeah, I love this. I haven't opened this yet. I'm quite a big bugbearer of people like buying things like this and not opening it, but I can't bring myself to open up this copy. I have it digitally, so I can listen to it like that. I do have a record player in this room and loads of records, and this is like one of the only vinyl records that I have that I've not opened yet. It's really quite expensive now because it's sold out and out of print. So it's sort of more like a display piece. So, but yeah, you can listen to the songs on like any streaming platform. But yeah, I love this, and I just wanted to show it off. So there you go. Have you seen Devil's Rejects?
Yes, I am. Do you know what? Funny enough, I'm a big fan of Rob Zombie's. I like his stuff. And as you mentioned, I think something just clicked with Devil's Rejects for me out of that. I don't even know what is it the Firefly family trilogy?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I really prefer Devil's Rejects. It has a kind of a more polished feel than House of a Thousand Corpses.
He had a bigger budget. It was I think it's his biggest budget film. Like you can tell, like I think he was given something like $12 million or something at the time in like, the early 2000s when it came out, which is quite a lot for that type of film. And you can definitely tell where he put the money into the production value and everything. So yeah, it's definitely my favorite of his.
Yeah, it's a fantastic one. As I mentioned, I picked that soundtrack on a video I done with Heat from Serial at Midnight, maybe last year.
Oh, okay. I've not
At some
seen
point.
that. Oh,
Yeah,
right. Okay.
we were kind of. It was my CD pick, but I had my CDs in the attic at the time. It's a great, and like you said, it's nothing really to do with the film at all. Like it has the folk and the country kind of vibe to it, and I play it in work all the time when I'm in the DVD shop. I just have it on in the background, like, because it's nothing to do with horror really. So it's a really cool. And you mentioned Terry Reid. I picked him out as well when I spoke about it before. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's music though. Funnily enough, I'm not into his stuff at all. I know of it again through the wrestling. He done some team musics for wrestling stuff a couple of years back. But yeah, Devil's Rejects is definitely highly recommend. As Sam said, check it out streaming. Book and music, I'm going to hit you guys with. I decided to pick this out today because we're both kind of fans of the Cubs, and I'm a big fan of Pearl Jam. So Let's Play 2. This
Nice.
is the CD. I have the vinyl is here behind me, and I have the Blu-ray is inside. But
very much appreciate that.
Yeah, if you guys aren't aware, so there's this documentary called Let's Play 2. The year the Cubs win the first time they won the World Series in like 100 and something odd
8 years.
108 years.
108 years.
Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam, is a big Cubs fan, and they do a documentary of Pearl Jam playing 2 gigs at Wrigley Field, and which coincides with this Cubs winning the World Series. So yeah, they're actually made it, the CD's kind of made up similar to the Blu-ray, and that there's a booklet and all that sort of stuff in there. So I think it's a nice I'm a big fan of Pearl Jam, but I don't know about you, Sam, but sometimes I kind of feel like certain Pearl Jam set lists can be like super cool, or they can be really kind of like, oh man, I don't know.
They've got such a big back catalogue of songs, and some of their albums you can skip.
Yeah.
But if they play a certain set list, it could be like the best gig you've ever been to. I've never actually seen Pearl Jam live, but I've watched a lot of like live performances on YouTube and stuff. But
no, me either.
Yeah, they're one of those type of bands.
Yeah, I have a couple of Blu-rays of live stuff. There's like a Live at Madison Square Garden is really good. I have an old DVD of that. My sister saw Eddie on a solo tour here down in Cork a while ago, but no, I've never gotten to see them myself. Book recommendation. Like you, Sam, I did read an awful lot of books when I was younger, and I just kind of stopped at some point, but I do have a bunch of books. Sometimes you guys to see them, they're kind of up over my Blu-ray DVD collection in the other videos. So I just pulled this one really quick today because this is super cool. The Art of John Alvin. He done a bunch of movie posters. I have a couple of things marked here because I want to show you guys real quick. Oh man, like what has he not done? This old, the old school kind of drawings, paintings of movie posters that you guys know. He done some Star Wars, but the book kind of has sketches, and it has when episode 6 was Revenge of the Jedi. He has some sketches there for that, which are really cool. I'm going to quickly try and get to the pages I have marked here. Blade Runner. So he kind of shows that is sweet. Kind of shows the sketches and then the finished kind of
reminds me a little bit of Drew Struzan.
Yes, there's a great documentary on him, I think, as well, that I've seen a while ago.
He's a great artist.
Batman stuff as well. I'm a big fan of Batman. You guys know I said it as well. I'll show you one more here I have marked. Yes, he's doing a bunch more Star Wars for the VHS release. I think it was 95.
Nice.
All this stuff.
Very cool.
Sorry, I'm struggling to get all this in here. But I picked this up ages ago, The Art of John Alvin. That's kind of good. And, if you don't fancy a read and you want to just flick through and look at some cool movie posters, that's a good one for you guys. Right, so we've just hit the last question here. So this is all on you, Sam, at this stage. Can you give us 3, no pressure, 3 movie recommendations from your collection?
So these are just based on films that I've seen fairly recently that have had a really big impact on me.
Cool.
And they sort of cross different genres, which is pretty cool. The 2 of them are Criterion. One of them is Arrow. Nice. So we'll start with the first recommendation, which will, as you said, this will probably come out like a little while, but this is sort of like a recommendation for Halloween. But you can watch horror films any time of year, can't you? So I mean, I know I do.
Every day.
I just tend to focus a lot more horror films during October. But I've spoke about this before, but it's The Burning.
Oh, cool.
Have you seen The Burning?
I think I did many years ago. Haven't seen it recently.
This came out sort of like 84, 1980. Anyway, I love Friday the 13th. I love that franchise. It's fantastic. Damn it. I should have maybe said Friday the 13th to the franchise question. Damn it. Anyway, no, I'll still stick with Star Wars. No, I'm
that box set.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. I always said I wouldn't, but then I did.
They got us. They got us.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So this is a vastly superior sort of slasher film to at least the original Friday the 13th film. It is fantastic. It's just does everything the first Friday the 13th does, but just notches it, amps it up a little bit more. Cool. And it's got some really fantastic death sequences in it. The music's really good, and it's just a really fun time. If you like that sort of 80s slasher vibe, then I'd recommend this. I know most people don't talk about this when they say slasher films, although I know it's not totally obscure, but I didn't know about this until I picked it up in the Arrow sale earlier on in the year in April. I hadn't even heard of it. And I picked it up and I was like, damn, that is a good slasher film. Like a really good one, like top 5 slasher films ever, in my opinion.
Cool.
So yeah, if you like slasher films and you've not seen this, then I highly recommend The Burning for the spooky season or any time of year. So there you go.
Nice.
Next up is a film that I saw maybe about a month ago, and it's directed by Wim Wenders and starring what's this? Oh my god, this is embarrassing. Harry Dean Stanton. I hate it when my mind goes blank. He's one of my very favorite actors, character actors. Is amazing. But it's Paris, Texas. Have you seen this film?
No, I haven't.
My god, this is a beautiful film, and I can't believe I hadn't seen it already. This has been recommended by a lot of people, particularly like Elliot Cohen is a big fan of this film. And it's basically, to summarize it, is a man disappears for years, and he like out of nowhere he comes back, and not saying where he's been, and basically wants to reconnect with his family. And it's about his journey into sort of like making amends with the past and things like that. It's got an amazing guitar score by Ry Cooder. So it's like a really cool sort of acoustic guitar, twangy feel to it, like westerny, but not quite. And yeah, it's just one of the most emotional films I've ever seen. So if you fancy a crowd, Paris, Texas, it's just absolutely beautiful and amazing. And it's sort of shot up into one of my very favorite films on first viewing as of recently. So yeah, that's that.
Cool.
And lastly, something different. It's on Criterion again. It's Howard Hawks' His Girl Friday, starring Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell.
Yeah,
I adore this film. I only watched it recently, a few months back, but the tone of this film is just spot on, and the dialogue, just the breakneck speed that the characters talk to each other, is just breathtaking. I absolutely love this film. I'm assuming you've seen His Girl Friday.
I have not.
No. Well, I can't say that. I've only just recently seen it. So, but you need to see this film if you like any. Sorry. Yeah, pick it up in the next sale or something. But if you like anything from like the 30s and 40s, it's very much like a remarrying story, sort of like a couple that have divorced and about how they sort of like fall in love with each other again, all told through like a news reporting room sort of thing, and the stories going on in the town at the time. And yeah, like the dialogue is incredible. Like, I can't say enough about the dialogue. Like, it is superb, and it's a superb film, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's a fan of classic cinema, although you've probably already seen it. But it's also really good for people who maybe aren't as familiar with sort of black and white films from the 30s and 40s, because the humor is still really relevant today in it, which is a good plus, because sometimes humor from back then sort of gets lost on people. I know it does on me when some of like the screwball comedies or anything like that. I just don't get the humor in it. But this is fantastic. So that's my last recommendation, His Girl Friday.
Awesome. Thanks very much. So that kind of wraps it up.
You're welcome.
Another episode inside Sam's movie collection. Thanks for letting us have a look inside your collection. Yeah, it's been really awesome. I'm going to have links to your YouTube channel and social media and stuff. So guys, I would definitely recommend head on over, subscribe to Sam's channel. You're going to see some awesome stuff over there. So yeah, thanks very much for being on, Sam.
You're most welcome. Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. And we will see you guys on the next one.